One day I was over at Diana and James's house, and James went over and talked to Les about coming over and meeting me. And so,
playing a little matchmaker.
Yeah.
Ms. Bruno, tell me how it came to be that Ms. Boughton moved into your rental home.
She called me October of 21, telling me that she was going to lose her job because she didn't want to take the COVID vaccine and that she would become homeless, and asked if she could rent a room. And I loved and cared for her, thought of her as a family and my best friend. So I said yes. You know, I had no problem. We had no problem saying yes.
Were you allowed to have a sublessee there?
Our landlord has never told us that we couldn't,
Okay.
but he was in the process of telling us, you know, I'm going to raise the rent, I'm going to raise the rent. We've been there going on 16 years.
Okay, so you've been in the home for a long time. You went
Right.
ahead and made an informal verbal agreement.
Yes.
Did Ms. Boughton at the beginning pay the rent?
Yes.
Ms. Boughton, were there any problems when you first moved in?
Everything went good up until January.
So tell me what happened in January that started things heading downhill.
I lost my job right about the middle of December. I applied for unemployment, and it took a little while for them to even get it straightened out. I mean, we were still kind of in this COVID thing. That's why I lost my original job. So it took quite a while, so I missed...
To process your unemployment checks.
Right, and so I missed January's payment. But once I did get it, then I started making February, March, and April's payments, plus the ones prior. So the only one that I missed was January.
Did that kind of hurt the relationship?
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Bruno, from your perspective, tell me what happened.
Let me go back to her losing her job. She did not lose her job, she quit. After she moved in November of 21, my husband was able to get her a job at his employment. And then come December, she got fired from that job. And then the day she got fired, I recommended that she file for unemployment on that day because I knew of the timeframes to receive benefits. So I offered to help her, and she said, no, that's okay, I'll do it myself. So a week goes by, I asked her, did you get it done? No. Les, her now husband, is gonna help me. So, okay. So another week goes by, and I said, well, did you guys get it done? I'll help you if you haven't. No, not yet. So then finally, by this time, I was like, well, I'm not gonna ask anymore, you know, she's an adult, she'll get it done when she gets it done. Towards the end of December, she said she finally got it done, and at the back of my mind, I knew, well, come January 1st, I'm not gonna have the rent. I believe it was mid-January is when she started receiving her checks.
All right, so did this really sour the relationship when she was unable to pay the rent in January?
Not at first, no.
Okay.
Because I knew she was on unemployment, I knew she didn't file right away, so I was willing to work with her. I had even let her borrow $100 at the beginning of January. She did pay me back when she started receiving the benefits, but she never offered to pay any of the rent for January or didn't want to discuss it or anything. So things didn't start getting sour until April. So between the end of January through beginning of April,
Things were still okay.
yes,
Yeah.
things were still okay. We would try and talk to her, and every time we did, she would walk away and ignore the situation, the issue.
All right, Ms. Boughton, what was going on during this time from your perspective? Because one of the things that you claim is that they started harassing you.
When I got all the unemployment set up and everything, it took longer than the middle of January for that to get started. We did sit down together and go over things and when I would be able to, you know, start paying them back. And honestly, at that moment, I wasn't sure how much I was going to get each month yet at that time. I know it was a lot less than what I normally would be making.
So you were hesitant to kind of commit to a specific amount.
Yeah, because then it would make things bad. And at that time, I still had my current rent that I had to pay, which went up to $480. We did go through it, a couple times of sitting down and talking and that. And the only time that I started getting up and walking away was when I felt like they were treating me like their child. Like every 2 weeks, when they knew that I would be getting paid, they wanted to sit down and talk about it. Where's my money? And I'm like, I explained to you 2 weeks ago what was going to happen. You know, I don't have it right now.
One of the things you claim is that when things started to kind of sour, you felt like they were deliberately doing things to get under your skin. Yes. Tell me what you believe they were doing aggressively in a harassing way to kind of bother you because of this dispute.
One of the things is that they have this big old speakers, probably about this long, that was like right up against my bedroom, and they'd had it up loud. I'd asked them, at one point if they would turn it down just a little bit, because I couldn't even hear myself think. And instead, basically, they turned it up and kept it all up all the time. Whenever they had
that
the
been
TV
a problem
on,
before, or did that just start being a problem?
That just started being a problem.